they seem to spring up overnight, spewing racism, bigotry, anti Semitic views, and it seems like they have an endless supply of money, but no one really knows where the money is coming from. Tyrone Bowman Live. Let's talk about it on tonight. I found an article in Salon.com, which is award-winning news. I want to show you a picture of billionaire Leonard Leo as he spoke at the National Catholic Prayer Breakfast in Washington, D.C. on April 23rd, 2019. So this is the billionaire behind the scenes, making sure that the right, the conservatives, in the earth. All right, let's get down to the essence of it. So here it is, quote, donors trust, also known as the, quote, dark money ATM of the right, close quote, funneled $257,600 to 6 organizations that have been designated as hate groups by the Southern Poverty Law Center. An accountable U.S. review of donors' trust 2022 tax filing revealed. The David Horowitz Foundation Center, an SPLC designated anti-Muslim hate group, received the highest amount of donations, totaling $142,000, followed by the VDARE or VDARE Foundation, a white nationalist hate group, which received $34,500. Now ask yourself this question. Why would a billionaire like Leonard Leo, who has undoubtedly invested his money wisely and has invested probably in stocks, bonds, real estate, and etc., why would he take the time to take his money and give it to groups like these? Birds of a feather flock together. Never forget that. Birds of a feather flock together. Have you ever noticed that there are no black political action committees? Well, there should be. We should have our own political action committees that is nonpartisan, and we support groups and candidates that support our views, be they Republican, Democrat, or Independent. You have to think out of the box and think about the preservation of the black race. Long as our time will come when we're no longer on this earth, we have to think about those who come behind us. We have to preserve. It's time to stop shucking and jiving and dancing and entertaining all across the nation. We can do more than play basketball. We do more than play sports. We do more than tap dance and sing. We do more than go to a recording studio and rap and spew out filthy, vile lyrics. And if you saw the people who are behind these mega organizations and corporations within the entertainment world, they don't even let their children listen to the filth and the garbage and the perversion that is spewed out of the mouths of our black entertainers. You know it, and I know it. Start thinking out of the box. Start investing our own money in ourselves. Do you want to know why the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacre occurred? Just think about it. Black Wall Street, they were doing quite well for themselves as an independent community, an independent organization. And then this happened over a lie. Once a lie has been told, it's hard to undo what a liar has said, because a liar will consistently and pathologically tell the same lie. Look at Donald Trump. He's still saying, he's on point. He's following Leonard Leo's instructions continue to deny that you lost the 2020 election. That's what liars do. They lie. People stand up in court, put their hand on the Bible, do you swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? They say yes, and sit right there and lie. Or politicians are famous for this, but they don't want us to plead the fifth, but they can sit down and plead the fifth. On advice from counsel, I choose to invoke my Fifth Amendment right privilege. You can ask a bunch of questions based upon the advice of counsel. I choose to invoke my Fifth Amendment right privilege. Then when we do the same thing, they want to penalize us for invoking the Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination. Doesn't go like that. The Constitution is supposed to be interpreted. They say, is it one of the things that they asked during the Senate confirmation hearings, especially those who are going to serve on the United States Supreme Court? How do you view the Constitution? Do you view it as a dead document or a living document that can be interpreted? If you say a dead document, your confirmation hearing is done. If you say a living document, you're confirmed. And then they will ask you, well, how are you going to rule on hypothetical cases? How can I tell you how I'm going to rule on a case and the case hasn't even been brought before me yet? Makes no kind of sense. The Thomas More Law Center, another SPLC designated hate group and, quote, religious right organization, close quote, which has worked to overturn federal hate crimes law, pulled in $30,000. No Left Turn in Education and the Center for Immigration Studies both received $20,000 each, while the Family Research Council pulled in $11,100. The Family Research Council is supposed to be a Christian organization. They come on the radio every day, but people never really pay attention because they don't do their homework. They don't like to research because they're too busy trying to find out how they're going to get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They're too busy to take out the time to inform and to educate individuals so they can make decisions with their own independent mind, instead of someone telling them what to do, where to do, and how to do it. It comes as no surprise that Donors Trust dumped hundreds of thousands of dollars into known radical hate groups. Caroline Ciccione, accountable U.S. president, told Salone, Donors Trust has now become infamous as a massive war chest for the far right's most extreme causes, Ciccione said. If you want to be a Republican, you better toe the line and do what you're told. Do you think that the one black senator that they have, Tim Scott, would be a black senator if he wasn't doing what he was told? No, he would not be. That's why Senator Warnock, who is the pastor of the historic church in Atlanta, Georgia, where Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Sr. was the pastor. The name will come to me later. The David Horowitz Freedom Center, which was initially founded as the Center for the Study of Popular Culture in Los Angeles to, quote, establish a conservative presence in Hollywood, quote, close quote, was later rebranded to focus on, quote, the efforts of the radical left and its Islamist allies to destroy American values, close quote, according to SPLC. Since then, the center has launched a network of projects giving anti-Muslim voices and radical ideologies a platform to promote hate and misinformation. You know, AI is promoting a lot of disinformation as well. People think because AI says something that is true. No, it's not. Why do you think people are becoming dumb? Because they don't want to go to the library, they don't want to research, they don't want to study, they don't want to take the time to do these things. You better do so, because your freedoms are fastly being taken away. The organization has emerged as a leading sponsor of conferences and seminars promoting anti-Muslim sentiment in Horowitz's network to organizing elaborate weekend retreats that bring together government officials with influential figures and activists from the far right. David Horowitz himself has been, quote, a driving force of the anti-Muslim, anti-immigrant, and anti-black movements, close quote, such as the late 1980s SPLC noted. No accident. Money is power. And I'm going to tell you something. I could care less about demonstrations. I care about building my financial portfolio and becoming independently wealthy to do the things that must be done. More black families are torn apart because of the lack of money than anything else in this nation. It is designed that way to make the black man seem like he's nothing and educate the black woman, empower the black woman, and pay her more than her husband, and then that way she'll get rid of it. Because it creates divisiveness within the household. You know it, and I know it. Donors Trust also has a history of funding groups linked to white supremacists, giving more than $2 million in donations. One such organization is the Vedder Foundation, whose founder believes that diversity has weakened the United States and that the increase in Spanish speakers is a ferocious attack on the living standards of the American working class. Close quote. The New York Times reported in 2019. I told you in a video not too long ago, every ethnic group was welcome to this nation, and Roberts Island, where the Statue of Liberty stands, except Africans. My ancestors were brought over here to be slaves, for nothing more. They weren't brought over here to be educated. They weren't brought over here to be taught. They weren't brought over here to become a part of the industrialized society. They were brought over here to fuel the industrialized society. Free labor. They were raped. They were butchered. They were murdered. The men were castrated. They were breeders, so that the slave populace could exist. Vedder.com has been labeled a hate website by SPLC for its ties to white nationalists and academic proponents of scientific racism. It has provided favorable coverage of the white nationalist movement, engaged key propagandists associated with the movement, and actively taking part in various white nationalist events, all while cultivating relationships with like-minded extremists within conservative circles. In 2019, the foundation received $1.5 million from Donors Trust. And I'll tell you this, I could care less about what the Republicans think. I care about making money. I'll tell you what I care about. I care about becoming independently and sovereignly wealthy. That's what I care about. Because when you come to the table, you better have something to bring to the table. Learn to invest your money in real estate instead of the foolish electronics that they keep building to occupy your time, causing you to become mindless. Mindlessness leads to degradation. Mindlessness leads to poverty. Mindlessness leads to disparity. Mindlessness leads to being irresponsible. The main concern with groups like Donors Trust, a donor-advised nonprofit that directs money to other organizations and groups aiming to shape policy, is that they facilitate the funding of controversy. Roger Colvino, a professor of law at the Catholic University of America, told Salon. The ADF allows a donor to launder their identity through the DAF, Colvino said. This is even better than anonymous giving because the actual donor is the DAF sponsor, not the donor advisor. And all of this is done under a 501c3 tax-exempt organization. I was telling some friends of mine not too long ago, I said when politicians leave office, they quickly set up a nonprofit organization, 501c3 tax-exempt organization. About why? Because they wrote the laws. They know how they work. Just because it's nonprofit doesn't mean that you're poor. It doesn't mean, it means that you can't profit directly. Every executive director, every president, every vice president who works for a nonprofit organization, including employees, they get paid for their servitude. and that is a stipulated fact. With regular anonymous giving, the gift is still actually from the anonymous donor. But a DAF grant legally is from the DAF sponsor, not the person who funded the gift or provided the advice, he explained. I think this makes a difference because it interposes an entity between the true donor and the controversial group giving funders distance to support causes without accountability, Covenant said. Donors who might not feel comfortable making direct contributions to certain groups can hide behind a DAF. So, in this regard, I think DAFs are harmful to the broader charitable sector overall because they amplify controversy, and the charitable sector in turn becomes more and more associated with controversy instead of with what many people think as a core charity, helping those in need, quote unquote, Covenant added. Donors Trust primarily funds conservative, and libertarian groups. A 501c3 charitable operates quietly, but wields significant influence as a financial hub for the conservative movement. It has channeled millions of dollars in anonymous contributions to support various right-leaning causes, including giving a $48.7 million gift in 2020 and $17.1 million in 2021 to the 85 Fund, a group founded by right-wing legal activist Leonard Leo, more prominently known for his role in building the conservative supermajority on the Supreme Court. In turn, the 85 Fund gave Donors Trust over $12.4 million in 2020 and $17.1 million in 2021, according to Accountable US. Donors Trust has become involved in funneling millions of donors to the organizations like the Heritage Foundation, the NRA